Hello, everyone. Welcome to Confidence Leads to Success with me, Elif Köse. I have met this incredible woman via a Facebook group that I am also a member of, and I just love to introduce her to you, Rosie Khandwala. I hope I say the right name right. She is a real go-getter. She's moved from Tanzania in 1987 to the UK with a young family. And while she was setting up a mobile therapist to earn some pocket money, she realized there was an absence and there was a need in sugar wax for hair removal. And then as she noticed that gap in the market, she realized that she could do this because that's what she used back at home herself and made it. And she convinced her husband to go into this market together, and they started manufacturing and supplying these to the market. And I thought, what an incredible woman, and what a an initiative to see that. I mean, most successful people, when you look at it, those are the people who sees the gap in the market. And we have got Rosie here. She's one of them. Hello, Rosie. Welcome.
Thank you, Elif. How are you? And it's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. I am so well. So good to meet you. Even though it's blessings of the COVID pandemic, we get to meet so many people, and I get to meet women like yourself. And I really loved your story of how you have done this. I wanted to share it with a lot of women because it's not as easy as everybody thinks. Most women will think they will just give them a product and they'll sell it. But what you've done, which is the right way, is you've seen the gap in the market and introduce it. Could you tell us a little bit
That's
about your
right.
journey?
Sure. So I think moving from Tanzania, where I was born and brought up, and coming with a small family, well, in fact, I was 7 months pregnant with my second child. To come into a country where you feel overwhelmed with, if that's the word I can use, because it's just, I'd never been to, traveled before to the West. So just coming and adjusting to the life in UK was quite challenging.
I feel you. I've been there.
You know the feeling. I
Absolutely.
think you feel that you don't even have time to think about what you've left behind. You just want to get on. And the reason that we left Tanzania, that my husband was an expatriate, so we felt that the economics times in Tanzania were really getting tough, and for the sake of the children. And I felt the best years of my life were wasted because life is just too good out there. You've got the sun, the sea. And when I was growing up, I didn't have television or magazines because it was a socialist country. So I was completely isolated in what to expect when I moved to England. There was excitement. But then when you come here, you feel that, how, in terms of how backward life was for me. It was very basic and a very innocent lifestyle.
It's almost like a cultural shock, isn't it? Not only like you get to a country, you don't know anyone, you don't know the culture, you just got nothing, you don't know what to expect. And being able to just fit in and belong to a place with a family must be
Yeah.
really difficult. I mean,
Yes.
I was on my own and I found it really hard, but with a family, I would imagine. Well done.
Yes, family, not only young family, but with in-laws as well. So, but then you think of you think it's a blessing in a way, because when you talk about child support now, I felt I was very fortunate that I had my in-laws, that there was the feeling of security for the children, which I now understand that how valuable it was. So there was a give and take. So I think we all have to learn to adjust to life as it comes. So anyway, when I moved here, I felt that I needed to earn some pin money. I've always worked from a very young age. From the age of 15, I started my career working as an apprentice in my cousin's salon in Tanga, where I grew up. So life was that I always paid everything for myself, never asked a penny. So coming here, you just realize how you feel under obligation. Even though you are not, you come here as your husband, as your support is there. But I wanted to just go out and, try and get some pin money, you
Yeah,
would do.
having that financial freedom gives someone extra confidence, and being able to actually spend the money you want is just so powerful. I
Yeah.
feel you. I know exactly what you mean.
And I think that's the only way you feel good about yourself, because especially, when you have a child, you you feel you've put on weight, you feel that, there is a lack of confidence that you have at the time when you're trying to, get back to your feet. And I thought, going out, meeting new people would really be a perfect, and I could do it in flexible hours as well. So that was the main thing, that I could have a home work balance life. And yeah, and that was when I realized that when I would want to do sugar waxing, I just couldn't, when I was trying to, as you would do, trying to establish, looking to set it up, that sugar wax wasn't in any of the wholesalers, or you could go at that time online wasn't that, availability online wasn't there. I'm talking about almost 35 years ago now. So it was through wholesalers. And when we saw the gap in the market, I think that's when I thought it's time to
So
look for
did you
something a bit
go
different.
so did you go wholesale straight away then, rather than sell it to individuals?
We did wholesale, and we wanted to do direct sales to the salons as well. But what was the difficult part in going direct to salons was we had to visit to actually demonstrate the product. And it took a long time to convince salon owners at that time that you have a natural product against a wax-based product. So it was, it felt that, although we had a good product, but the market was not there to accept that,
The market wasn't ready, but you were convinced that your product was needed in the market. I really like that. It's really good.
Yeah. So, and then we had the 90s recession soon after we started. So we started in 98 manufacturing, and then 90, a year and a half later, we had the recession. So that was when we had to, because we had borrowed money from the bank to set up the business, because we were a small manufacturing unit. And then at that time, the banks were very easy, to borrow money. They were lending money. You could do whatever you wanted to. But then when things go down and you feel that, as a small business who had just started, we didn't have the income that we felt that was substantial enough to sustain us. And that's when the first experience of what it feels like when things go wrong. So the banks wanted back their money. So we had to remortgage the house, which we had bought from our savings. And yeah, so that was the first shock. And that was a difficult one to deal with, because it lasted
Sharing this
quite a long time.
journey, because it's really good. Thank you for sharing that journey with us, because a lot of the entrepreneurs at the beginning of their journey, they think everything is going to be all nice and smooth, and our path will be paved with roses, but it's never that way. So, but what I'm hearing is that you knew what to do with that product. Because coming from your background, being working in Tanzania in this industry and making those sugar waxes, you were confident. You trusted that that product worked, and that's why I feel that you probably felt confident enough to go and borrow the money and invest in this product, and just open the market for yourself. And then things went wrong, but I see you never gave up. I really like the next story that
Yeah.
you shared with me. I'd love you to share it, how you approached the body shop
Yeah.
to get the brand. It's incredible.
Yeah. So at that time, you feel that if one door's shut, you try and open another door. And I used to watch Anita at that time, on the TV, always she always was out and about, talking about inspiring women, talking about small communities. And I just thought Body Shop doesn't have a product like this. She is traveling far to source products from small communities and women communities, especially. I remember she traveling to Brazil, Southeast Asia. So I just thought, well, I think sugar wax is something that is so traditional, and it's not something that I've created. It's something which has been going on for centuries. Everybody uses it, but it's just that it's not in the Western market as yet being introduced. So I wrote to her and I said, look, hair removal is something which every woman uses. And I would like, because you don't have a product in the shops as yet, so I would like to introduce sugar wax. And then we got to the sample level, which was great. And yeah, she approved, because I think she, being a dark-haired person, she probably, could associate the product with for the use it
Yeah,
was
see,
meant to
what
be.
you're done here, what you're sharing is how most successful people end up doing. They go and approach the market. So what happens is, if I know the ladies tune in here because it's very important. So when you're in business, you don't wait to be found. If you're sure of your product, if you're sure of your service, you've got to get out there and let those people who need your product yourself. And what you've done there was so clear and very, very strategic move, because you follow this brand, you know what they're selling and their mission and vision for their, and she's supporting women communities, and whereas you were literally on her doorstep, because I believe the body shop started in Brighton. I might be wrong.
It is.
That's what I
Yes,
was
they are in
thinking.
Little
That's
Hampton.
right,
Yes,
isn't it?
she
Yes,
did start her first shop in Brighton.
that's right. And my friend actually, she actually worked for Body Shop for many years, so this is why I kind of know a little bit about it. But you didn't just wait there to be found by
Yeah.
these people. You
I
just approached them.
Yeah, I think one lesson that I've learned is that never fear of trying to approach somebody. They can always tell you no. And the more no you get,
Exactly.
you just have to wait for that one yes. And it so happened you are at the right time with the right person, and that's when you get breakthroughs. But and as you say, people don't come to you. You have to go to people. So
Yeah, that's so inspiring. I love it. Then what happened?
yeah, so then we got, so rather than creating our brand on the shop, because we went under their label, and for 18 years, we had the Body Shop contract, and the product was available everywhere except for North America. Anyway, it gave me at that period of time to just get settled into life. I felt that I was getting more to learn about because beauty in an industry which is very challenging, the more, especially what it is very brand conscious. So for me, that marketing side was being done. I think I was working behind the scenes in terms of manufacturing. But then the second phase of the challenge came when L'Oreal took over, and we were being given 3 months that the contract would end. And coming out of that was one of the most challenging things which we had to face, because we had a product, but we didn't have a brand. And one of the mistakes that people do is that we got into that comfort zone where either I felt that, we were slightly a bit in a situation that we felt that, oh, if we create a brand against the Body Shop, then perhaps there would be a conflict of interest, and they would challenge us to say, why do you have your own brand? Why you are manufacturing the same product for us? So with that in mind, we just went along and said, oh, Body Shop keeps us, at a level that we are comfortable, and there's no need to create our own brand. But when you lose a contract from a large company like that, that's where you feel that you're, very vulnerable. And it was a very vulnerable time for us.
But you didn't just let that beat you. You did your big
No,
comeback and
yeah.
started in your own brand.
So the reason how it came about getting the own brand, that I got a bit in a slight panicky situation. So I would ring again, a lot of salons and try to tell them that, look, I'm now an established manufacturer and I've got a product which has been already proved in the market to be, as that
Bestseller.
it worked. And
Yeah.
yeah, as a product, it's been introduced already into the market. So, and I came across on one conversation, there was a gentleman on the phone, and he said, I am the salon's, he was a consultant, a marketing consultant. And I was rabbiting on that how, we had the contract and we've lost it. And he just told me, he said, Rosie, calm down. I think you need help. Because I think I was in a bit of a mindset where I just felt I needed the business to turn around. I couldn't wait and, just feel that things are going to, come to some normality. And I tell you, sometimes, you feel that there's always somebody looking down on you.
Yes.
And he told me, he said, I will come and see you because I think you have a good product, you have a good history, and you shouldn't give up. And it's just how you try and come out of that is where I needed some help, because I was too long sitting behind,
Waiting for luck to turn around.
yeah, and marketing had changed by then, social media, there was very much less emphasis on print marketing. It was how you move out and get into the retail sector. We are not talking now the professional market, but on the retail sector, because that's where the volume sales are. And so he came and he said, why not create your own brand? It will take time, but you would have to work you need to give yourself out of this comfort zone and talk about the positives of that, and get your brand established. So that's how it happened.
So it's never too late to give yourself another chance.
Yeah. And then but to get a product on the shelves in the sector
In the
which is
market.
quite niche, I think that's the other thing we felt, that the market wasn't ready, because nobody was understanding when I was talking about that my product is vegan, or it was registered cruelty free, because we all had this ethical ethos instilled in us by working with the Body Shop. So when I feel I'm now at a stage where the market is just ready. It's amazing, when I couldn't talk about a product or explain somebody, the moment I talk about the environment, sustainability, vegan, cruelty-free, they relate to it. So when I turned 60 and I just felt, I've had enough of this, because it has been a struggle that we were online on a lot of online platforms like Feel Unique, Amazon, but you want to generate volume sales by being a British brand to be on the shelf so people could actually associate with it. And so when I turned 60, I told my son, I said, I feel that I've had enough of it. 30 years in this business, it's really worn me out. And he turned around, he said, walk away if you want to, but think about, in those 30 years, what have you achieved? Have you achieved your goal? What you feel now that, as somebody who introduced as a pioneer of a product into the UK market? And this is the time that the brand needs to be there. So, and it really made me think. And I said, look, I've got a few more years to give in. This is my time now. I need to get out of my comfort zone and be the brand and feel proud about myself. Because I think there's sometimes you feel the lack of confidence because there's always, you feel, is it the right time, for me as a brand owner to be out there, because I always had relied on other people to sell my product. But now I think it has made me feel that I've got that achievement, and I think I'm in the right frame of mind to be out there.
I think it's almost like you need that level of trust in yourself and your product. Once you have that level of trust, the confidence comes from that trust. It's like, if you trust someone, you'd hold their hand to walk through a rocky path because you will know they'll hold your hand.
Yeah.
Or if you are walking, this is the same. I think your son has just reminded you to look back on yourself. I love that, because so many of us is looking for outside external validations and external acknowledgements of our achievements, our gifts. But we always have it within us, and you've had it. You clearly had it, and Body Shop has accepted it and sold it for over 18 years. And this product works, and you've introduced that to the market. So your son has just reminded you your achievements, your ability to get that product at the level of it is. And I love that you didn't give up and you just went for it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that really made me feel good. That when you have, and I think in business, what I learned that when I was, when my son told me all that, and I just felt, I think I need to now, networking was the other factor. I joined the networks because without having a background in terms of education, I lacked that because I didn't go to college, or I didn't, had that business
Acumen.
acumen.
Mhm.
But my experience of, starting the product right from the start, so nobody can pull wool over my eyes. I know my product right from the start, how to source, how to manufacture, and how to retail.
I
And I
love it.
think it teaches you so much that you feel that, you can share it with other people. And that was one of the things that when I started networking with a lot of women groups, I joined the NetWest Accelerator program to just find out about a bit more and learn about, um, how do you communicate your messages, and how do you share your stories. And I learned from others as well. So I think if anybody's starting in business, network, because there are a lot of people around. There are a lot of organizations, associations who can help you out. So I think during the Body Shop time, I think one of the lessons I felt that I was left on my own, and between me and my husband as a family, we had to cope with it. If we had, people, we had been out there talking to people, perhaps it would have been made a difference, because people genuinely are there to help you out. And then you can decide what's good for you, or what suits you or what doesn't suit you. But I would strongly say that, we are in this internet, we are in this now at the time where everybody does Zoom, everybody can meet, through social media. Um, make the most of it, because it's invaluable when it comes to
I
getting
totally
support.
agree. I totally agree. The networking is one of the biggest step to grow your brand. Talk about your needs, talk about your offers. If you don't tell people what you are selling, if you
Yeah,
don't share with them how you are ready to help them with whatever you've got, whether
yeah,
that is product, whether that is service, if you don't share it with more people, how you're going to get. So networking is so important. So I
Yeah.
love that you also share the same. That's what I would say, especially as an immigrant who came to the UK.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone, and my way of getting into any community was just creating a network, and I found myself being member of almost every networking event in the area to build my brand.
Yeah. And not only build your brand in the sense that you're looking at, just to take. I think you can give as well. And people are there, and at the times when things don't go right, you just feel you want to hold their hand and, be
Yes,
there
of
for
course.
them.
It's like a give and take
Yeah.
space. It's like it's a space, it's a community, almost like a sisterhood.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I realized that power of sisterhood, that's why I created my community of women who are ready to help each other. This is why I've created these interview series, just to create this level of support, because anybody who's listening what you've just shared with us, I'm sure there will be at least one person feel they're ready to take their brand to the next level, or their passion, or they might have seen a gap in the market and they never wanted to take that first step, but you and your story will
Yeah.
probably give them that
Yeah.
push.
Yeah. Resilience and patience.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I could talk to you for hours, and I know your time is so precious. So I won't
No,
hold
no.
you. So
But
good.
I admire what you are doing as well. I love, I wish I could be a seamstress as well. Because I
I
do a
know it's
lot
been
of
my childhood.
embroidery. I do a lot of upcycling. I'm so much hands-on person. I always tell my husband I'm good with my hands, but not with my brain. So,
Oh, I'm sure you are. What you've created is incredibly successful and so inspiring. I
yeah,
feel so privileged that you've come and shared your story honestly, and how you felt and what steps you've taken, because it's just not easy, but it's worth it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And more than happy, I wish we can, share this with him and can help others. I'm always out there if anybody wants to contact me for anything, because we also locally, we do source everything locally. And we feel that, if you don't have that connection with people, then
I love it.
you
So,
really
so if
lose out.
anybody needs some hair removal, all women, all of us need some kind of hair removal. Just go to the sugarcoatedhairremoval.com and check out Rosie's incredible products, all natural, cruelty-free, environmentally friendly, locally sourced. It's absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to ask you just last question before I let you go. What would be your one tip for someone to find that confidence and courage to take that first step?
Believe in yourself and your product. If you feel you've got something, then go for it. Because don't, and reach out to as many people as you can. And you should be prepared to take no for an answer. So there'll always be somebody who'll say yes.
Love it. So good. Just believe in yourself and your product.
Yeah,
Be prepared to take no's, because there's always a yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Every no means endless yeses.
absolutely.
Love it. Thank you
Yeah,
so much, Rosie, again. It's been an absolute pleasure having you.
thank you. Take care.
Thank you,
Bye.
everyone, for joining, and I will see you on the next episode. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks very much, Alif. Bye.